welcome to the Mindfuck podcast. I have a very fucking amazing friend of mine, Eric. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, I get on the screen and already you are just in full energy mode, and I'm like, this is going to be the most fun ever.
Fuck yeah, of course. Right before I press record, I was laughing my ass off because Eric said something very, very important. Please, can you repeat it?
Oh man. We talked about a bunch of stuff in a few minutes, but it's the whole thing that we are not nearly as important as we think we are.
Yeah.
And if we're not kind to ourselves and don't take ourselves so seriously, nobody else is going to give us that grace. So it is on us to be really kind to each other, to ourselves, so that we can be kind to other people. Because man, we think we're way more important than we actually are, don't we?
Like the world revolves around us.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So you said you've been trying to take yourself less seriously. How's that going?
Um, just finding joy in the little moments and just finding gratitude in being alive. And also in my journey, hitting rock bottom, life in quote has really humbled me to just really appreciate every fucking moment. Not wait for the perfect time and just laugh now. Don't, I'll be happy when. No, my happiness is now. My grief is now. My joy is like everything is. I want to experience it now. And yeah, that's currently how I have over time realized I'm never gonna take myself seriously. I'm gonna be childlike, be open to life, and see what life has to offer me. Because the moment I tell myself, "Oh, I have arrived," or "I know something," I've missed the mark, and I really don't know shit. So yeah.
It's so,
What about you?
oh man, I would say the same thing. It's crazy. I have been not drawn to post on social media for a little while. Kind of started when I was on vacation. My wife and I took 3 weeks in Utah, which was freaking amazing. It's the longest
Fuck
I've
yeah.
ever been away from work. And man, we reset. We hit that Control Alt Delete button, hit the reset. And, I just came back and I thought I was trying so hard to get outcomes that I wanted. I was trying so hard to kind of manipulate the game if there's some way to
Mhm.
do that. And I just stepped back and said, I'm just going to take a little bit of time. I'm reading a book right now called Die with Zero, which
Okay.
is phenomenal.
Fuck yeah.
And we hoard and accumulate for most of our life, and then we get to a point where we can't even spend it. Oh, I'll have enough money when I'm 75, and then man, I don't even feel like traveling anymore. So my wife and I are trying to take those principles and just live life, invest in relationships, and the business stuff will come,
Yeah.
but the more we try to force it, the more we try to play the game that everybody else is playing and everybody else is shot, I think the harder it is. So I just got off a session that it's crazy. This is how weird the world is and how cool God is. So I'm a dentist, right? You know that.
Yes.
I'm a
Yes.
dentist, almost sold my practice and walked away. So I started
Yes.
doing speaking and coaching and workshop facilitation. So I was facilitating a 1 hour workshop for a group of 150 civil engineers today before we talked.
Oh wow. How was that? Oh my goodness.
It was amazing. We talked
Wow.
about time blocking and delegation and being kind to ourselves, planning our weeks ahead and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I want to do more of that because it's
Fuck
so
yeah.
fun.
Yes. Speaking
Yeah.
of fun, what do you do for fun, Eric?
Yeah. So my wife would say I have way too many hobbies. So she gets scared whenever I bring up anything new because she knows I'm going to go all in. So for fun, I love to fly a plane. So I'm a pilot as
Fuck
well.
yeah.
So I love that perspective change in a small plane. You get just high enough above the world to see that our little dots that we care so much about are really small.
Yeah.
And so that
Mm.
I love to do that for fun. I like to take people up in the plane because especially if people haven't been in a small plane, whether they're nervous about it or whatever it is. I love doing that. I love hiking. I'll hike anywhere, anytime. And we have a big fire table at our house. It's probably like 10 feet
Okay.
wide, 10 feet long. And we have people over and we make s'mores.
Oh, okay. That is so fucking fun.
And we get creative. So sometimes it's fudge striped cookies on either side of a s'more,
Oh,
or it's graham cracker, Reese's peanut butter cup, marshmallow. Like we
fuck
stack
yeah.
them. We do all kinds of stuff with them.
Ah,
So yeah,
oh. Okay, now that out of everything you listed, that right there is the top of my list.
it's fun because you sit around and sometimes we have drinks, sometimes we don't have drinks. But either way, there's something about the fire, and fire is another one of those things that's never the same. Every flame is just a little different. It dances different, moves different, but it's intoxicating. Like you can just watch the fire and you can share life. And we talk about real stuff around there. And
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm so sick of the small talk and the fakeness and all of that kind of stuff. Like, if we don't know each other, let's jump on a call or let's have coffee and let's talk about real life. I don't care about the weather, but tell me what you're struggling with. I'll tell you what I'm struggling with. Let's see if we can support each other. I mean, that's life. That's good
Oh,
life.
oh, fuck yeah. You know what? That leads me to my next question, Eric. From your perspective, what does being a human without condition mean to you?
Being a human without condition. I mean, I think it's just showing up authentically to every situation. Yourself, that's your work self, is your home self, is yourself with your family, is just who you are. I don't really necessarily like to use the brand, but it's almost like being true to your brand the whole time. It's
Mhm.
not like, yes, I speak in front of hundreds of people and I love doing that. But I also like sitting on the couch and watching a World Series game with my wife, like we did last night.
Hell yeah.
And I like to show up the same person. I'm gonna let my wife in on some things that I'm not gonna let other people in on. But
Right.
on a overall level, just being that same person, because when you have to wear a mask in front of certain people, it gets tiring and it's hard to remember which mask you put on for this role and which mask you put on this role, right? Because you might want to walk in and be like, I don't know, Frankenstein for one group, but then you have a dragon mask on, and that when you
Right.
come in, it gets confusing. It's just show up, be in the room, be real, treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Oh, fuck yeah. You know what? I'm going to play an imagination game with you right now.
Let's
So let's
go.
just imagine me and Eric are in a room, and 5-year-old Eric walks into the room. What would you tell him?
I tell him he's good enough. There's going to be people that tell him that he's not, but God determines his worth and he determines his worth. It's not up to other people.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. I felt the truth in that. Thank you so much.
because
And
there's quite a story behind that. I was
oh,
bullied on the recess playground and I was repeatedly told that I wasn't good enough. And people look at me and they're like, that is not true. You are 6'5", you've accomplished everything you've wanted to athletically. I said, but I was the youngest in my class. I was soft around the edges. I wasn't athletic and I wasn't very good at kickball. And so they didn't pick me. And they told me it was because I wasn't good enough. And you hear it once, but you hear it all those times. And if I could have caught myself at 5 and
mhm.
told myself that, I don't regret any of it because I went through that. I am a way better human than what I was. But just deep down to have like that inner hug of you are good enough would have been really special when I was standing on the side of that kickball field not being picked.
Wow. Ugh, that really warmed my heart. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, how does Eric show compassion and kindness to himself and to other people around him? How does it show up in your everyday life?
Yeah. I'm getting better at showing compassion and kindness to myself.
Right.
A few years ago, I would have said I sucked at it, but instead, that's terrible language to use. I'm getting better at it each day. Some
Right.
of the ways I'm doing that is prioritizing quiet and over productivity. And I'm 48, so I have to pay a little bit more attention to recovery and stuff like that. So I bought a sauna and a cold plunge.
Oh,
So
wow.
those are a couple of the things that I'm doing to prioritize being kind to myself. I'm not trying to pack my days as tight as I used to. I'm giving myself a little room. And how's that show up otherwise with other people? One of the biggest things that I teach my team in my dental practice is we want to meet people right where they are. We get to spend if they come in twice a year for cleanings, we spend 2 hours a year with them.
Right.
We don't know what's going on the other 364 days and 22 hours. So we need to meet them right where they are, love them right where they are, make sure they're seen, known, and heard, and that they walk away at least knowing that somebody cares.
Mm. They walk away knowing that somebody cares. Speaking of caring, it's like probably a bit unrelated, but the logo behind you caught my attention. I know that's your brand. What's the name of the brand again?
Win the now.
Why that name?
Yeah. Because I was a very negative person for a lot of my life.
Mm.
I was always looking for the bottom to drop out. I was torched. I believe this is as good as it gets. Is in the deepest depths. I asked the question, would it even matter if I wasn't here? And that was with an extremely successful dental practice, an amazing wife, and two amazing kids, respected in
Mm.
my community by all means. The cover story was that I had it going on.
Right.
But behind, I was dying. I was negative. And so when I almost sold my practice and walked away in 2020, 2021, I knew I had to change my mindset. So I spent a lot of time in quiet. And the answers come in quiet. If you don't believe me, it means you're not spending time in quiet. It's not negotiable. I will argue with you with that. And the word win just kept coming up. Like, you need to find more wins. They're all around. You just need to find them. I said, okay, well, how do I need to find wins? Do I have to win the day? Well, no, a lot of people are winning the day, but for me in my practice, I might see 30 patients in a day between the ones I do treatment on and then all the ones I check with my hygienist. So a day's too big because I will minimize it to the one bad thing that happened. So, okay, well, win the moment. I mean, that's a little foo-foo for me. Win the now. Win right now. What does a win look like? So that means
Fuck you.
show up 100% to the present moment you're in. Unconditionally, present moment, that's the most important thing. And what does a win look like in the moment? Super easy right here. A win means I showed up fully ready for this. You and
Yes.
I have a great conversation. Someone who's listening to this is going to get some hope and some strategies for moving forward. That's
Yes.
what wins look like in this. When I'm done with this, I have 2 hours to work on a keynote before I have to jump on another call. So, what is that going to look like? I am going to be laser focused during that 2 hour block, and I am going to move the needle on the keynote because that's coming up in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it's just looking at life like that. And then when you take a loss, it's asking one question of that loss. What can I learn from it? Something
Mm.
crappy happened. It's gonna happen all the time. I promise. You're gonna have a loss today, Wanu. You know that. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
losses today. But if I ask that question, what is it I can learn from this? And then move on, because now is right here. I got to get
Right.
back in the next moment. So what it did, and I'm so thankful for neuroplasticity, I rewired my brain to become a more positive person. And whenever I start to fall off track, I go back to gratitude. Even when it seems like a lot of things suck, go back to gratitude. I start tracking wins. I'll have a piece of paper that I keep in my pocket all day at the office, and I'll write down wins because it's easy to go back to the negative, and it's just tracking wins, tracking wins, tracking wins. And now at the
Mm.
end of the day, I come home and my wife says, "How was your day?" She used to be like, "How was your day?" And now it's How was your
How was
day?
your day?
'Cause she knows I might share some losses, but I'm gonna start with the wins, the good things that happened, and it's changed my life.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I do want to share something with anyone listening. Two fun facts. Eric was one of the very first people to actually support my brand. He actually bought a blue t-shirt as a gift for someone almost a year ago. And I just want to say thank you again for supporting me. And Eric was also the first person I heard about the gratitude exhaustion list, where he brings out a piece of paper and time it for 30 minutes or so and writes everything he's grateful for. I learned that from you. So I just want to say thank you again for adding that to my toolbox, because it also helped me tremendously to just see gratitude in the little things. I just wanted to share that. So thank you.
Oh yeah, that means the world to me. I love that list. That was born out of a trip, a 1 hour trip on Black Friday to go do shopping. And before we went shopping, I wanted us to not focus on what we wanted, but what we were thankful for. So with my kids, who were like 11 and 8 at the time, we spent that whole hour coming up with things we were grateful for.
Ah, fuck yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
it's so liberating, right? Because
it
it's like,
is. Yeah. One of the biggest things that's on my mind right now is how, if any electronic device that we have is acting up in 2025, at the peak of technology, the first thing they're going to tell us to do is what? Shut it off and try again.
yeah,
Shut
restart.
it
Yeah.
off and try again. So is there something for us in that? So how often do we need to hit Control Alt Delete for ourselves and just reset?
Yeah.
Exhaust your gratitude. That's a reset. Writing down 10 things you're grateful for. That's a reset. Doing 5 minutes of deep breathing. That's a reset. Like, how many resets can we get in a week so that we're not just staying in our mind the whole time?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my very last question for you, my friend. We all have peaks and valleys, right? When Eric is in his valley, is there any quote that just keeps you going, or keeps you grounded? When you hear the quote, it's like, okay, there's hope. I believe, there's a sunshine after the storm. Any quotes?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go biblical, because
Okay.
that's bedrock for me. So one
Okay.
is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. So when I'm in a valley, it's often that I'm leaning on my own understanding. So that
Mm.
is one. And the other one is from Joshua 1:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be terrified, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Oh.
So
Mm.
nobody's going to give us courage. We have to take courage, and we have to be willing to trust the greater story that's going on. That's one of the tattoos that I have on my wrist. It says, "Trust the story."
Oh, I have trust the process. I know I have.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just
Yeah.
it's the same concept. So
Right.
those are a couple of my bedrock verses.
Fuck
Yep.
yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your story. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this. And for every beautiful human being listening to this now, when it gets confusing, when it gets stormy, always come back to compassion and kindness for yourself.